All right, good morning, guys. Just after 9:50 here on this Tuesday. Welcome to Storm Talk. With meteorologist Brian Good. Yes, obviously we had a very busy night last night with the heavy downpours, flash flooding. These tropical-like downpours, not moving very much, causing some problems, obviously, on the roadways, and in some cases, apartment buildings are being flooded. Several water rescues, especially in the E-Town area. We'll look back at some of the data we're getting on that today. And here's the thing, we're not getting a huge break here today. So you're not out of the woods completely of getting back into a flash flood status fairly rapidly in the next 24 hours as we get more showers and storms entering the picture. So in areas that have been hit several times with heavy rain, you're the ones really at risk. It's not just E-Town. There's some spots in general that we have in the area that are more prone to flash flooding this week. And there are others that really have not seen as much rainfall, and you can handle some of these bigger events a little easier. And I'll try to pinpoint on the map where some of those spots will be. And of course, the focus is really split this week on two main topics: the severe events as far as wind that we're tracking for tomorrow, late afternoon and evening, timing still being worked out. And of course, the heat that will be building in for the weekend. That's pretty much a lock on the area. And the question is, when will it let go for this weekend? And I see a trend of it doing that, but sometimes the models are a little too happy to let go on heat waves. They tend to last a little longer. All right, so a lot to cover. Don't have a lot of time today. Sorry, it's always kind of a brief setup here today, but I'll try to be brief and get to the point, which is rare for me. Good morning, Joel, over in the Triangle area, North Carolina. Such a pretty spot there. We're working on trying to get you some cooler weather. You're unfortunately in a bad spot too there into the Triad area, because you're going to be dealing with more of the heat, especially on the eastern side of the Appalachians there for a while. So the heat is, and humidity. I mean, you guys really get the humidity in that area there for sure, Joel. Okay, so let's start with the current view outside, which, sorry, I'm just not looking at it. It's kind of a mix of raindrops and bugs, maybe. I don't know. Either way, boy, if there's a good nap day, this is it. Oh, wouldn't that sound nice right now? Watching some Harry Potter, like on loop, volume down kind of low, laying on the couch, cuddle with the dog, blankets. Sounds nice, right? Well, some of you are lucky enough to do that today. Some of us, unfortunately, are have to be here. All right, but this is basically how it's going to look today. There's not going to be a lot of improvement coming our way. It's going to be just one of those kind of drizzly, rainy days at times, the heavier downpours, some lightning and thunder. But right now, I think you're better potential to get some lightning and thunder is going to be across southern Kentucky today versus the northern side here of wave country. Okay, so let's run down the numbers. I feel like I showed these exact same numbers yesterday. Still in the 70s, obviously high amounts of moisture. You don't move the thermometer either way. I don't think we hit 90 yesterday. If I remember right, we were at 89, like 89.1. We were close, but I think we were just shy of that. But the heat index yesterday got into the 90s, and that was miserable, which led, of course, to the tremendous amount of rainfall. So much moisture was in the air. Some of that has been taken out of the atmosphere from last night's rain, but there is still plenty. There's still plenty, what we call PWATs, which is precipitable water. And this is the number we kind of go by for what your rainfall rate would be. It's still averaging right now across much of wave country at 1.9 right now. So if you were to get a shower or thunderstorm and it didn't move any, you would get a rain total close to 2 inches in just an hour's time. That's still very, very high. And that's what we're going to be watching for. So you don't want a thunderstorm, especially today. Showers are okay. Showers will fall under that rate. They're not the best. Don't get me wrong. It's additional rainfall. But when you start getting lightning involved, your rainfall rate gets heavier. And then suddenly that 2-inch potential, 2-inch plus, can be realized. And yesterday, that's kind of what we were guiding by on the radars, areas of lightning. Once the lightning started to show up, we were focused on that spot. Okay, if you got lightning, that is a good indicator that the cumulonimbus is still growing, indicating the rainfall rate is increasing. If we had areas of rain that did not have lightning, which in some areas around Louisville last night, we didn't have a ton of it, a little bit of that rolling thunder, but it wasn't a ton of lightning. We did not get the heavy rainfall rate as a result. So lightning is key on how this is going to play out on flash flooding the next couple of days. If you have a lot of lightning in your area, especially frequent lightning, pay attention to the radar and see where that is close to you. Okay, 73 in Bardstown, 73 in Marion County. Here's the rainfall again. This is since Friday the 13th. For last week, no doubt, Kentucky has picked up the highest rain totals, on average of 3 to 6, 3 to 7 inches. Indiana, much more blotchy on the totals, not as widespread and uniform as we've seen into Kentucky. And Louisville's been kind of on the edge of that. Some parts of Jefferson County have some higher totals than others, but it's hard to ignore the Parkway South that certainly has picked up a tremendous amount of rain in just a few days' time. Now, just even in the last 24 hours, same spot again, majority of that falling into Hardin County, Breckinridge County, over into Grayson, where at least rainfall estimates were coming in about 5 to 6 inches. Some of the totals we were getting in from you guys, your reports, were indicating a lot of 3, 4 inch totals. Sometimes the radar can overestimate. So your gauges, it doesn't have to be anything fancy on the gauge, guys. Or you don't have to go buy National Weather Service equipment. As a good rain gauge, trust me, does help. But any rain gauge in these scenarios is helpful to us. Just as many reports as we can get, that does tell us a lot. You guys were great yesterday on sending in your video, your reports of what was happening in streets, where it's happening at, because that's information we need to know. We were trying to get that relayed to the Weather Service so they're aware of what's going on. So then they decide at that point, okay, do we continue the flash flood warning? Do we upgrade the flash flood warning, which is what they did in Hardin County, or do we extend it down to the next county over? Your reports are a big part of that. Now, emergency managers are out there, but boy, they are busy. They're very, very busy trying to either do a rescue or get to someone that's calling 911 saying they need help. So they don't have time to talk to the media, obviously. So they need their help too, but your reports play a big role. So don't ever think you're annoying us by sending in a ton of reports and videos, especially on the Wave Weather app. I'm telling you, that's the easiest way to get them to us. I know it sounds like a ploy to get you on the app. It really is streamlined the easiest way. Second, if you have no choice, there is an option on Facebook, but it's a little bit more of a process. So I'm just trying to make it easy on you all and for us to get that info out there. All right, so same storyline today and tomorrow. Anything like this that comes up, let us know what you are seeing and be specific as you can. Don't just say heavy rain in E-Town. We need to know where. You know, I know you may not want to give out your street. That's fine, but give us at least a landmark to go by so we can pay attention to the radar and zoom in on that area and know what is happening. Okay. So anyway, there's my soapbox on storm reporting. All right. Flood watches are out to the east today. I got some flood warnings out for the Green River to the west, bright green. Will they issue another one? Perhaps. I think today's activity overall is going to be a little bit lighter and a little more spotty in nature. So it's going to be hard to draw an area and say, yeah, this is going to be the area that's going to get flash flooding today. A little tougher to do that. I think warnings are probably the only way you're going to handle this, or even flood advisories. Tomorrow night storms, when they roll in, may provide for a bit of an easier look. And I got a feeling to be back here to the west again. If there's going to be another flood watch that will come out, we'll let you know what the Weather Service decides on that. All right, today, not as wild right now, but we do have some activity. It's not as sunny. Remember yesterday we were, cloudy going into a sunny setup for much of the afternoon, sunny and hot, right? Today's a little different. We have a lot of clouds. You can see the result that's happening in the radar, not as much action. In Louisville, we've already had a batch of showers move through. I've been checking no lightning with these, so these are far under the threshold of the 2 inches per hour. These are only adding up to a few hundredths, maybe a tenth of an inch as they scoot on by into Charlestown, Indiana, up Oldham County as well. Sometimes you'll get some of those bigger raindrops, big old fat raindrops at your windshield, and some pockets here. That's possible, but they usually don't last very long. Okay, we have more down to the south, but it's easy to pick out the very weak boundary that's just draped from here all the way to the eastern side of Dayton, Ohio. And it's that very weak flow. There's not a lot of wind shear. So that's just a very gentle flow that we're looking at, but a lot of lift still is happening in a tropical atmosphere. So you just get this constant redevelopment of showers and at times thunderstorms. What you don't want in this scenario that I alluded to at the very beginning is sunshine. That only just allows that thunderstorm, that lightning potential to then be realized. And then you got to pay attention for not only strong thunderstorms that can develop due to strong downburst winds, but also heavy rainfall rates. And look at the satellite, messy satellite today, not as clear cut. If there's any area that we're watching, it would be around Nashville, into around Cookeville, Tennessee. This may try to lift into our southeast sections here today. And if you get enough sun, you only need about an hour or so of it. It may be enough ahead of this boundary that thunderstorms will continue to blossom here around Nashville, Tennessee, and could expand a bit more in our southeast sections here. So watching this area just because that's where the sun is trying to poke through. For the rest of us, we're going to get some scattered showers and rumble of thunder. We'll watch and see how much this cloud cover in Evansville can thin as we enter this afternoon. There's a bit of a boundary there, almost a wall. If you can almost see it right there along the river, it's heading eastbound. So as it does a bit of a squeeze play on us today, heading in from the west, it may help enhance some downpours too right along the Ohio River zone, including Louisville. That would be later on today. Right now, we're not quite there to that type of setup, but it's the players are on the field. All right, so because of the sun coming out in our southeast areas, Storm Prediction Center, this is not too surprising just because of what the environment is. They added in a marginal risk for southeast Kentucky about an hour ago to account for a few that could get close to severe limits. Most of them won't be, but it's really the idea more than anything. Yes, you can get some damaging winds out of this, but I think it's just the biggest issue you're going to have is your rainfall rate of that 2 inches per hour can get realized. So we'll be watching it. Obviously, if you look to the other side of the map, those colors get your attention. So you're like, hey, what's going on over there? Well, that's tomorrow's setup. And looks like a, I don't know, smiley face or even a teddy bear. See the little ears on it. Anyway, you get the idea. This is the severe weather outbreak that is hitting into Kansas. Boy, Kansas, look at that. The entire state almost is at an enhanced risk and a good chunk in moderate. Oh, storm chasers going wild there today. We are watching Omaha. I know that's, 3 o'clock game today. We're going to be watching that. There's been some shuffling going on for the College World Series because of the storms in the past 24 hours. But right now, it looks like the worst this is going to be a little more to the south and east of there. But we'll be watching that area too today. But this is going to be the main attention spot for much of the country is going to be what's happening here into the plains. Then tomorrow, it all shifts east. And this is where we got the enhanced risk out right ahead of that boundary. You can almost see the jet streak really kind of moving through the Ohio Valley. And then the slight risk on the edge of that and then marginal all the way down. A closer view shows the one end of wave country has one category to the other. At the very end of wave country, it looks like, as I always like to say, Neapolitan ice cream, where you've got that layered look. And I still think this is fair because it tells the storyline. Don't get too caught up in what category you're in. Just know that the category is higher in the northwest side of wave country and it's lower into the southeast. That's all I want you to get from this map. That's it. That's it. Because that's how the radar will play out. The worst of the storms will fire just to the western side here of wave country, and they will gradually weaken as they head east. But still, it's not like the categories are gone for Adair County or Marion County. You're still in a severe risk, just in a lower category. So again, don't get caught up in the category type. Just know that you should see a weakening trend as these storms kind of evolve. The question we've got now is that we know the energy is coming. We are going to be watching what's going to happen into Kansas today. The problem we have with tomorrow's setup that is going to really be a thorn in our side is where do they initiate? Is it going to be back into central Illinois? Is it going to be a little closer to Indianapolis? Will it be a little closer to Evansville? Where they initiate is absolutely crucial on how this is going to play out. If they initiate too close to us tomorrow, we're going to be right into the worst of the damaging wind threat fairly quick. Within about an hour's time, we're going to be getting warnings like crazy lighting up for strong wind gust. If they fire off a little further to the west, we will get more of the weakening version of that by the time it reaches us. No doubt the area enhanced risk is going to pick up the strongest, then we would still get strong wind gusts, but decreasing in the number of reports and hopefully a decrease in the number of warnings and so on and so on. So this is the challenge the Storm Prediction Center has. I think where they've got the outlook now matches the majority of the data I've looked at, but I will say all the high-res models are different. They're all different on how the story gets going. And once it develops, it's going to be easy to track, very easy to track. But we've got to wait until it fires. And unfortunately, the time frame of it firing is going to be late afternoon tomorrow. So it's all going to be last-minute shuffling and alerts and notifications to you guys. So just be weather aware. Just know that As of now, this looks to be a late afternoon and night type event for tomorrow. But we don't have exact timing yet because it has to form first. So we're kind of just going on the best we have, which is data. It'd be great if we can just look at the satellite and radar right now and say, based on meteorology, this is where it should be. We can't because we have to let whatever's happening in Kansas happen first. Then late tonight, perhaps tomorrow morning, even on the blog here, we may be able to pick out where some of the boundaries are left over from Kansas, and that may give us a better idea of where they could fire later. So we'll have more information tomorrow morning for sure, even better, obviously, tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so let me show you the graph model, in-house model. And again, they're all a little different, but this one, I think why I like showing it is that not only I think you guys like seeing the fuel on here because it really helps an understanding that you got to have that gold color, that fuel for these storms to feed on, and you see how it eats it away. I think that helps you all in understanding that from what I'm gathering. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the feedback I've received from you all. But it also shows some of the possibilities that could play out with this setup tomorrow. So for today, showers will be around, some thunder. Again, watching just the southeast corner here of Kentucky for any stronger storm activity. And it may be completely out of wave country. It may be all into the Jackson National Weather Service area. So it'd be the Cumberland Gap area, EKU, maybe around Somerset. That area may have to watch for maybe some stronger storms, and we may just end up with a few spotty heavy downpours. Maybe busy, maybe speckled at times in the radar, but we could get lucky today and not get anything too wild and crazy if it's going to stay, especially on the overcast side. Okay, once that moves on out, then we gear up for what's coming our way for tomorrow. As we get into late tonight, thunderstorms will be moving in from the Kansas area. They'll be fading as they move in. And here is the outflow from that batch of storms from Kansas, right there at about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. It'll be in a weakening state. But boy, this is important because this boundary is likely going to give us a midday or a lunch round of scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. I don't see anything severe. They'll be what we call elevated. But I do think we may have midday rain and thunder at this point. I don't think it's enough that would cloud us over and mess up any of the fuel for later today because, as you see on Futurecast, we regain it rapidly. But look what happens with this model as we head into the afternoon. Look where the fuel is building way more to the east than where the enhanced risk was drawn up. And because of that, this model develops the storms, the MCS type feature, right over us at around 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's nearly 3 to 4 hours faster than some of the other models. So you can see the challenge we've got. And I really think it's that midday boundary that comes in tomorrow that's going to be key because wherever it stops, I think is where this round for the afternoon will fire. So bear with us on the timing on this, but damaging winds, the main concern with that, yes, you can get a tornado threat with this, but that's not the main concern with this. It's straight line wind, around 60 miles per hour in these little Boeing segments, and obviously some flash flooding. It will continue to march to the east and finally run out of gas, and then we'll be done with that, and we could say see you later from that system. Okay, let me show you the timing, and then I'll get into the long term here real quick, and then I'll have to run. You can see, again, today's rain chance, bit of a spike the next few hours, tomorrow's rain chance. We got that spike at midday tomorrow. They count for that Kansas outflow. And then right now we'll go with near sunset for the main chance at some severe tomorrow night. Let's see. Brad, yeah, I like the maps. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll hold on to that map. I think it explains things quite well. Lacey, will there be weather coverage? Yes, we'll be keeping an eye on things. If we see anything threatening, obviously we'll be jumping on, let you know. I got a feeling some of this is going to be falling throughout our newscast, so we'll be able to keep you updated on that. Chris, ETA from Horizon. We don't have any builder right now that kind of show that, but Horizon's similar. I would say maybe a little closer to the 7-8 o'clock window, Chris, but very similar look to a line that's going to have a lot of wiggles with it, a lot of Boeing segments that'll move through, with damage winds being the main threat overall. Thursday going into, let's see, Thursday and we're going into Friday be the same. No, that's the good news is that once this front moves in, we take out a lot of the moisture in the air and that reduces the severe threat tremendously. So this is really looking more to be a Wednesday night issue, more a Thursday. That's why we have not fully extended the alert day to all day Thursday. We have not seen as much support for that today that we were getting hints of yesterday there. So this looks to be, yeah, Joseph, this looks to be an evening or overnight type of setup. I don't want to eliminate the late afternoon just because we just saw there with the graph trying to arrive and blow things up as early as 5 p.m. I don't think that's likely, but I can see why it's doing that. So give us some time to kind of sort that out. And you're right, saturated ground, Chris, tree damage is going to be an issue. Even with sub-severe warnings, you can get tree damage. Okay, after this, guys, it's all about the heat that builds in starting on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday. And then we try to break it down and get into more of a stormy setup for the very end of June into the 4th of July holiday. Now, that looks to be MCS land. So I got a feeling the 4th of July holiday is going to be busy with severe, unfortunately. I don't see the intense heat as this weekend will be. So this weekend may be really a core for a bit of time anyway. But this is a snapshot. We're thinking low to mid 90s. As the ground dries out, we'll have a better opportunity to get closer to the 95. It may take a bit of time because the ground's wet initially. But once we get to 95, that's when the heat index as well can get to 105. And I got a feeling we'll be having alert days that will be issued for the heat. We tend to do that for the first round of heat for the season because it takes the biggest toll on your body. It's that first round. It's tough on you until you adapt to it. And then the rest of the season, it's a lot easier. There's the 10-day showing the stormy weather again at times today. Main focus is tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, and night for that MCS wind event to come through. And then we'll calm things down and heat up into the weekend. All right, guys, got to run and stay tuned for updates. I'll have more coming up on midday at 11 a.m. And obviously, I'll be back here tomorrow morning. I got a feeling tomorrow morning we'll be able to go through a lot of the finer details of what happened in Kansas for later on today. And that'll give us big clues on timing and what we are expecting tomorrow night. So don't miss the blog coming up for tomorrow morning. Take care. I'll see you on the flip side.